Hello, everyone. It's Mike here from AVASK. I'm delighted to be joined today by Jérôme from e-Comas. Jérôme, hello. It's lovely to speak to you. How are you doing today?
Amazing. And I've always dreamed of touching the AVASK wall, and I get to do it today, so it's a very special day for me.
And it's delightful to have you here. I think this is the first time you've come to AVASK HQ, isn't it?
Well, the Southampton HQ, yeah, I've been
Yeah.
to other offices, but yeah, first time. Very excited.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, AVASK and e-Commerce, we've been working together for about the past 5 to 6 years. We've seen some really great brands take off, and we've had some really great engagement on a personal client basis. So tell us, for those of you that haven't heard of e-commerce, how do you help brands to build and expand and grow?
So the we help brands start like from strategy to uh, like taking care of everything. So it's we help them understand if there's a potential because a lot of people or a lot of brands ask themselves, should I go to into Europe, or if I'm Europe, should I go to the US? First thing is understand, what's the size of the market, who's playing in that market, what are the price points, can I make any money? And this is a very important point for anyone wanting to expand. It's understanding that. And after that, we can define the strategy. Okay, which products you will start with, what kind of compliance, which kind of partners you would want to go in for all the taxes stuff. And then it's carrying out all those tasks, opening the account and then running the business and growing the business.
Oh, fantastic. And when you're looking to grow and expand a business, I mean, do you help brands, obviously, that are already established? What sort of brand sizes are you looking for?
So the brands we're looking at, usually we say if your potential is less than 1 to 2 million a year on Amazon, it will probably not be the right size. The agency is 11 years old now. We're 50 people. We've got teams around the world, in India, in Europe, in Africa, in the States. So we're really at the stage where we help medium to larger brands. Now, this being said, we have and we are still helping smaller startups sometimes, which have a great potential, where we help them because they have really an idea, and we help much larger brands like multinational brands also.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Well, you may have probably heard of a brand called Hexclad.
Mhm.
It's a very popular cookware brand. It's currently growing in the UK and it's been marketed, I think, by Gordon Ramsay. Now, of course, people in some circles are going absolutely nuts for this brand, and they've used really innovative marketing strategy and used obviously Gordon Ramsay to launch this brand in the UK. And there's including a few people. I mean, there's people at AVASK are going nuts for this brand. Is this the sort of client that avatar that e-commerce will be looking at?
I would say yes. It's a very interesting brand, and for me, at the core of it is there a story to tell? Like you've already given a few, highlights. Gordon Ramsay, quality, people love it. So there's a story about it. And for me, what I look at first is, will we be able to tell a story? A product, if you're only talking about features, price, like marketing won't be able to do much. You can try to create a story, but if there's a story, if there's a founder, if we have a potty brand we love, we've been working with for so many years. At the beginning, it's a mom having an issue with her kid, and it's like you can talk to the other moms and the dads of the world with a story. So for me, at the beginning, is like, okay, do you love Gordon Ramsay? You feel excited with his recipes? Well, cook like him. Already you have a story, even without the price, the feature. You don't know if the pan is good, but you have the story. And for me, emotions and stories is what makes products sell. So that's where this we cannot invent as an agency. We can help find out, let's say, but it has to be at the core. And if that's there, that's what gets me very excited.
Oh, amazing. And I know there are so many brands out there. I mean, give me some examples of some of the other brands you've been delighted to work with and that really, really pushed your barriers and boundaries.
Well, we have this brand, for example, is Amanda Jenner called My Carry Body, and check that out. It's an amazing brand. They've created a whole universe around that. We've had very large brands. We've been working for years for Michelin tires, for example. So that's a very big industrial group. We've been working with American brands coming into Europe, for example, Zero Water. Or water tech in the like swimming pool like accessories. So a lot of them is there's a story at the beginning and there's an expansion. Like the mission of the company is to help brands grow quicker, faster in e-commerce. So if we can't grow a brand, we don't sign them. Basically, and I've had discussions sometimes with some brands saying, I don't think we can start with you because we don't believe we can grow for X, Y, Z reason. And sometimes it's a discussion and it's very interesting. But for us, it's really, do you have what it takes to grow? And it can be the product. It has to be a mix, the product, the story, and the features and the logistics, the compliance, all those things needs to go together to deliver growth.
Oh, fantastic! It sounds like there are lots of products and brands out there that you're willing to work with, and you've been excited to work with. I mean, some of those are really good. Now, I know that e-Comas is based in the heart of Luxembourg. It's right where Amazon Europe is based. Right in the centre of all the European markets. It's obviously where all the money is, sort of laughing behind there. What are the opportunities you're seeing for brands that are looking to expand into Europe?
So for me, why I set up the company in Luxembourg is because I recognize in the market we are in, and I've got a lot of friends and competitors, other agencies in different countries, that they were all started from a local country, and I wanted to start it from a European point of view. And Luxembourg is great because it's super European. You've got the European Parliament, you've got lots of EU bodies, you've got Amazon EU. So I really wanted to have a multinational company. And even at the beginning, the fun fact is I didn't want to hire more than 2 people from the same nationality. So no more than 2 French, no more than 2 German, no more than, so that we could get really a mix. As you grow to 50, it becomes very difficult to keep that standard. But the idea was really, I wanted to help brands expand in Europe and worldwide. So I needed to have people speaking all the languages. I needed to people understanding all of that. Also people ex-Amazon, ex-brand people. So it's really a big mix of all that, which I think sets us apart. And after 11 years in that business, a lot of people have come to that business more recently, but now we can see we've seen that after a long time, and a lot of our people, ex-employees, are now working in very large companies. So it's very nice to see that, because we see brands are growing, but also the people inside e-commerce are growing inside and outside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the growth and the potential of the European markets. I mean, I remember seeing, I think it was a stat that said 1 or 2% of American sellers are successfully selling in Europe. And when you consider the number of sellers that are in Europe, the expansion possibility and the potential for working with European companies and agencies, it must be absolutely huge.
So I agree, it's totally huge. The thing is, we've in the last 2 years, I would say, after the different, like inflation, the war, unfortunately the different wars in the world, which is very unfortunate on a human level, but then also in business, has put a lot of pressure on prices and on margins. And I think the recent years have been about profitability. So expansion is money hungry, or is investment hungry, and it's true that those last 2 years have been really tough to invest in. However, I do believe that you need to prepare for the next growth phase, and the earlier you get involved in global expansion, the more you will be growing tomorrow, right? And what we work a lot on is helping brands understand that potential. And indeed, not every brand can expand. It is complicated. You need to be patient. You need to invest. Sometimes you need to invest step by step to get there. But the potential is here for sure. The market is huge. And a lot of brands get started but are not really prepared, didn't talk to anyone, or only did it internally, and it's very difficult. What we offer is to say, okay, we'll help you get faster there, and also we'll help you understand what you should be doing, or maybe what you should not be doing, or maybe wait a bit. And I think that's a super important thing, is we hate to overpromise, right? It's like under promise and over deliver. That's a bit the motto. And the idea is here, you need to be careful and take it seriously and do your homework. Don't just go and say, oh, Germany is great, let's go. It's like, it's complicated. So understanding that market and that potential for me is super important.
Absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that I see all of the AVASK team doing on a regular basis when they're consulting with the clients is saying, have you researched? Have you done your research? Have you planned? Because that's absolutely right, as you were just saying. Non-planning can be such a critical factor in failure as well as success. If you are successful, you obviously need to make sure everything's in the correct in the correct mindset. You need to make sure everything's planned and everything is accurately budgeted. I think it's a very important step. And so what are some of that leads me on to perhaps one of the most the next question. Some of the most common challenges that Amazon sellers face. What do you see these as people are expanding in Europe?
So, like I was saying, I think profitability is really what hurts today, because the fees of Amazon in general, and the fees of everything, to be fair, if you go and do buying groceries, you will see that things are more expensive, like logistics, everything is more expensive. So for me, the real thing is checking, one, the size of the market, like is it 100 million, is it 2 million, what the size of the market. Second is who's playing there and what kind of price points, because if you see everyone is like 25% cheaper than you, that's going to be tough, right? And the third thing is then, like, do your P&L calculation. Now, Amazon's got a lot of tools where you can make your own calculation of your, what it will cost you to sell on Amazon. And the idea is really get an idea of, could you sell at that price and how much margin is left for you? And you need to count, advertising spend and so on. And for me, this whole thing, those three things already is enormous, like market size, price points, and your revenue. Can you make money? Without that, it's very difficult to take a decision. And sometimes we get involved with customers which have run into it or gone into it, and then you look and say, wow, okay, that you must be careful. And for example, something as stupid as like the prices, end user prices in Europe are with VAT, right? Yeah. So you've got that 20% that is not your profit, it's actually the government, because in the States the tax is afterwards, right? So this already makes total difference, because usually if you take 20% off, it's very difficult to make money. So for me, that's really the first hiccup, I would say, even before talking about the complexity of language and everything. So it's really that understanding the market and logistics, and then obviously is like, okay, understanding your audiences. A German customer is different from a Spanish customer, etc. So it's maybe tailoring your product detail pages and so on. But that's really downstream, right? So the first thing is really doing your homework, like you said, and maybe finding the right partners. And that's why we partner, for example, with AVASK, is like having a group of people which really know what they're doing and help you on the several aspects. Could be in logistics, could be on compliance, on taxes, but then on strategic topic also.
No, totally, and 100%. I mean, AVASK, it's we've also built our own ecosystem of partners because of that exact reason. You need to have partners that are going to be able to help you in all different elements and aspects. I mean, we started looking at a 12-point plan. That was our key target at one point. And again, one of the points that we do raise on that is, how are you going to successfully expand and do it profitably, and whether or not you need to get an agency involved to assist you with that process. And if you're, as you rightly mentioned again, as you're bringing goods over from the US into the EU market, if you're not properly prepared for that, you can make some seriously catastrophic mistakes, like making sure that you include an extra 20%, say for UK VAT, it's 21% in other marketplace countries, it's 19% in others. So you need to really be sure that you're right on top of your products and pricing strategy. Otherwise, you're going to be losing money left, right, and centre, and it's not going to be profitable for you. And one of the key things that I've heard a lot of people mentioning the term omni-channel. Can you explain a little bit about what omni-channel is and how that works, and why it's so important for sellers?
So like I said, we're big on growth. Like for us, our promise or major promises on what we deliver is growth, or faster growth and profitable growth. So when you're looking at Europe, obviously you can expand into different countries, and that's very interesting, but you can also expand in different marketplaces. So obviously in the States, when you're in Amazon, you want to look at Walmart, and maybe you want to look at Target, and then others, right? In Europe, you have to look at a bit country by country. So you have a couple of marketplaces which are actually locally, if not bigger than Amazon. Very interesting. Like in Holland, bol.com is bigger than Amazon. So you want to be there. In Poland, you've got Allegro, which is bigger than Amazon. In France, you've got Cdiscount, which is not bigger, but it's an important challenger. And you've got Fnac also in France. So you want to look at those. And for instance, one thing which is special to us also is that we have our own accounts where we help some brands which want to test the market can go through our seller account. And specifically on bol.com, for example, if you're American, you cannot open an account on bol.com. So you can use our account to get on the market. And that makes a big difference. And I think that's for us, in terms of we want to deliver growth. If you say, oh, wow, I can't open an account, well, we're here to make sure that your products can be presented, and we're not really a distributor. We are an agency helping you get on the market.
Okay. No, and absolutely 100%. I think omnichannel, again, is very important for businesses, for those that are looking to expand throughout Europe. And as you've rightly said, the likes of Fnac and even Cdiscount. And we've also experienced cases where some of our clients have been doing negligible sales for certain products in certain categories on Amazon, but yet they've made an absolute killing selling the same products on Cdiscount, and it's just purely where the demand is. So again, that's another thing you need to, I think, research quite heavily, and that's another reason why you need experts in your field, specifically designed towards marketplaces and agency.
Yeah, because then it becomes difficult, because like a marketplace in France, like if you want to handle everything in English, it's probably going to be difficult, even in the relationship and discussions. Same with Bol, although English is easier, but you will need to have some Dutch elements there. Allegro is trying to be a bit more open to English speaking, but it's true, you need to have a bit of local understanding there to go quicker.
No, absolutely. No, I think there's so much. There's so much to actually do and so much to learn when you're trying to expand a business. Why would you try and be an expert in all of these things? Because it's too much for one person to manage. Surely, when you're getting to that stage, when you're literally dealing with several marketplaces plus different jurisdictions, I mean, I can imagine, you've already explained the sweet spot for the type of avatar that you're looking for. I can imagine that there's lots of businesses. So if you were to look at one particular profile, for example, say you're looking at American businesses, what sort of American businesses would be ready for expansion, do you think?
Well, first they need to have a product which is profitable locally, and which can help them sustain a bit at least the beginning. The second thing is that if they have a brand name which is in the US, they won't specifically have that same awareness. So they will have to have that patience element in the management, let's say, of saying, okay, it might take a bit of time. Also, like the simple e-commerce stuff, if it's a small, high value added product, like the smaller and the more expensive, the easier it will be to move around in logistically. So that works in the States and Europe, but when you're launching a new business, you might want to take the ones where you have as little risk. And it's really that appetite to attack new markets. And like I said, sometimes you might say, okay, this year is really tough, but I'm really preparing for 1 year, 2 years time, because the algorithm of Amazon will have taken all the information, and once I'm ready to really accelerate and put some money on the table, that's when it's going to grow faster. So that for me is a mix of different things, but one of them is really patience and never not giving up of wanting to grow, and looking at being strategic of, okay, there's so many countries in Europe, maybe you want to start with 1 or 2. That's Germany probably, that's the UK probably, and then build from there, for example.
Okay, so thank you very much, Jérôme. So just as our closing thoughts, what's the most rewarding part of your work?
There's so many parts, but I think for me is usually when I talk to people, I say the order is first clients, then people, employees, and then third the company. And what makes me wake up in the mornings, like first is clients, is those stories about, okay, we can grow a brand. There's a story, and I did a workshop last week in Paris with a brand, and there was so much to do, so much to build, so much potential, untapped potential. If it was an old brand, like a license, and like that got me super excited. And then I saw that we will deliver value. I have no doubt about that, because there's so much to do, and like we will get things organized and we'll get fast on it. So it's really that seeing in advance that success which will happen on those brands. And sometimes some brands are so focused on like their own product, and there's no emotion, there's no excitement. So finding that like alignment of stars of great product, great people, and great story, that makes me excited. And the second part is the people I work with, which we have people all over the world, and that what makes me happy. And it's working with people from India, people from Madagascar or Africa, people in Europe, different people, and seeing the people grow, and people sometimes move to another company, to another like position. That really makes me happy. So those are the two things which like even in dark times I can stick to that and go on.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. And if you want to get hold of e-Comas, or if you wish to speak with Jérôme or a member of his team, you can of course go to www.e-comas.com. Alternatively, what was the email address? It's
sales at e-comas.com, so e-comas.com, or you go on LinkedIn. We're very, very active on LinkedIn, so there's lots of information on e-Comas or on my name, which are published. You're welcome to connect.
Absolutely. And so thank you very much, Jérôme. It's been a wonderful pleasure to have you on the sofa next to me today. And from all of us here at AVASK, we hope, yes, that we continue our long-standing partnership with you guys.
It's 5 first years of a long partnership. Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.